Look me up on Google, search the classics, you crazy bastard. Hold me up and pull me down. It's a battle royale in the eye of the storm. Drowning in the shallows when the path is getting narrow. I'ma ride it out on this broken arrow. Fuck it. Hold me up.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered Idiots. I'm here with my good friend, Wes, aka Metro. I'm trying to get through this because he started fucking with me, of course, before I hit the record button. So, Wes, take it away while I try to laugh internally, you dick.
What up, everyone? This is Wes, aka Metro. Hey, welcome to Unfiltered Idiots podcast, man. Today's episode, we're gonna talk about, the recent, really two horrific, terrorist attacks, and obviously the New Orleans one on New Year's Eve, and we are technically I guess it was technically New Year's Day, but it was a New Year's Eve celebration in New Orleans on Bourbon Street. And then the gentleman the next day, at the with the Tesla Cybertruck in the Trump Hotel in Vegas. Actually, guys from here in Colorado Springs, which is pretty wild. And then we are going to get into a deeper level of thought as to like why these people become what they become, and get people out of their elementary brains where they just make the most basic, obvious, like no shit, Captain Obvious, as the rest of your superhero friends come with you statement of, well, they're just evil people. Like,
No,
yeah,
so
dude,
yeah,
so stupid.
I understand where you're taking it, but I just want to quickly talk about the amount of disinformation that came out
Oh yeah.
initially, primarily from the MAGA cult, and just spewing lies on X, just basically stating that these are illegal immigrants that caused these horrific incidents to happen when they were full-fledged American citizens that had military backgrounds. So
Yeah,
I
fought for this country, both of
yeah,
them.
both of them have fought for this country. So I just, if this is an inkling of what we have ahead, it's pretty damn disgusting in my eyes. Trump didn't even take the opportunity to retract his statement. When he put it out there, no one really retracted their statements that these were illegal immigrants when they put those statements out there. I think one congressman did. Can't remember his name, but anyway, that's beside the point. I'm just saying, here we go. Let's buckle up for the lies and the deception that lies ahead. And these two people were, again, in the U.S. military. They fought overseas. We can go into a deeper rabbit hole of, how we talk about, getting additional care for our veterans. But I don't personally, I don't know if that's ever going to happen. I think that I'm not sure why that's a moot point in conversations in Congress, but it seems to be. So, anyways, I just want to clear the air before we get into this. That these
Yeah, no worries. Yeah,
domestic,
no, I mean
these are
that's a
not
great. It's a
terrorists.
great. It's a great point, and it's something that I'm glad you brought up. Because um, guys and girls, this is why we're trying to get this information out again, and we will just keep saying this on every podcast. If you guys go to people who are billionaire funded or billionaires to get information, I just think you're really like, I don't know, man. I try to like watch my words because I want to say like you're, fucking idiot. Like, it's like you're not going to get solid information that way,
Yeah,
and you're literally only screwing over yourself in the long run. You're literally like, this is why when those folks are the same people that will post shit about like the liberal sheeple, you literally are being the sheeple by going to like Fox News or CNN or some billionaire funded YouTube channel or whatever the hell it might be. You literally are literally suckling at the teat of that sheep's titty. Like, that's what you're doing. And you're like acting like, well, because I'm on X and because the guy I like, that's the billionaire I like, dude, you're a moron. And again, did I say what side, left, right, billionaire? I said, you guys are going on these channels and going, well, this is a billionaire who says the things I like, so they must be a good
Yeah,
billionaire.
so I think that you
No.
make a great point there, right? So there are a lot of people that kind of cater their news now, and they have the ability to do that, and I like that, right? They have the
Yeah.
ability to seek out non-traditional news sources. However, in today's day and age, you're tailoring your news sources to what you believe in, right? So people are definitely not thinking outside of the box and listening to other channels. They're just like,
Yeah.
okay, this is what, and again, right and left, because there's some left channels that are just as bad, right? But
Yeah.
it's difficult to have to form a real good opinion when all you are listening and hearing is stuff that you believe in, right? And a lot of those, to your point, Wes, a lot of those people or those channels now are backed by a lot of money.
Yeah, and we'll kind of get into that, guys. But yeah, let's pull up this timeline of kind of very interesting. And we don't know much about the gentleman that's from here in Colorado Springs, as far as like, at least at this point in time, about his narratives, or like, yeah, I'm not narratives, but I mean, said that screwed wrong, about his motives. Excuse me, Jesus. Um, so we'll start with what happened. You know, with this guy that in New Orleans. So if you scroll down here, you'll see there's some striking similarities to like their
Oh,
backgrounds. Um,
my
as
bad.
we told you guys, these wonderful good old ads always in the way. As we told you guys, these these similarities where they both were U.S. military. They
You're just gonna have
both
to
at
talk
one
about
point
it.
in time. Oh, is it being stupid? Okay,
Yeah,
sometimes these articles can be done.
yeah.
They both, you know, they both at one point in time, I believe, were at the same base at some point,
Oh,
which
really?
is
I didn't
pretty,
know that.
yeah.
Okay.
So pretty wild there. But really, it seems quite honestly like their motives or intent were almost kind of like opposite in a sense. I mean, if we break it down, the New Orleans dude, um, Islamic guy. Looks like again started off as being a American citizen, went into the American U.S. military. Most likely had our views as far as like, hey, we're the like perceived good guys in the world, right? And we're the ones that are like doing all the good stuff. And again, you guys have heard Kenny and I go on about this stuff before. We don't believe that that's the narrative or the truth all the time. I think that's insane. For anybody to sit there and think that like, oh my God, America has just done everything right and we're so perfect. I just think that's nuts. And this gentleman, right, clearly went from believing in this like, oh my God, look how great American, military and America is to joining our military, becoming property of the United States military, which a lot of people don't understand. You literally sign off that you are property of this country at that point. Like it's not, hey, I don't feel like doing this anymore. I'm going to put in my 2 week notice. Like you there, and like if you don't, they don't fuck around. They'll throw you in the brig. They'll throw you in military prison. So just be aware of that, guys. Now, are there going to be some narratives out there where someone's going to say, oh, he probably was ISIS from the very beginning, and it was all like a ploy? I just think that's pretty fucking weird that
Well,
like
I
a
mean,
guy made it this
so
long. He's
yeah,
42 years old or something like that.
so here's the thing is I will shoot that narrative down
Yeah, I
immediately,
think it's
right?
dumb as shit.
There are people that will try to spin that narrative, but here's my thing. My thing is this guy had some mental health issues, obviously. He signed up, to your point, he signed up to be property of the United States of America, which you are once you go into the military. Saw some things, right? Saw some things overseas. And again, I won't speculate because I don't know enough about it. I'm not educated
Yeah,
enough to know about it. But here's what I will say. We have two former um, men of the military that definitely had shown signs prior to this going off, right? like their families are speaking out and saying that yeah, things were getting a little weird over the last month or year or so. But for these people that have served our country loyally, not to have the resources that they need is kind of scary because I was reading another article, especially about the guy that you just pulled up, the one in New Orleans. He had kind of gotten in with this wrong crowd and was kind of seeking. I don't know. I don't really. I won't speculate, but like it just seemed like there were red flags. That's what I'm trying to say. There were red flags, and no one's really caught this. And I've heard that a lot of former military personnel, they kind of gravitate towards um, ISIS or whatever after their service more than we actually realize because of mental health issues or whatever. So
Yeah, let's.
what I'm
Oh, go.
trying to say is I'm just like, okay, like let's dissect this.
Yeah,
Let's figure out what's going on, but let's not go down like a conspiracy theory route.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I think it's and we all are kind of that way when we're younger. By all means, dude, I was definitely more like, oh man, they're trying to trick us with stuff when I was younger. And I'm not saying that there's not guys and girls. I'm not
Mhm.
saying that like, oh, everything is exactly what they tell you. I definitely think there's problems out there, but there's a gigantic difference. Not to tangent for a second to explain to folks, I had this great discussion with my good old buddy Sydney, who I love dearly, who is like Mister like, uh, you know, he's conflating the uh you know putting like minerals into the sky because of climate change, but again he doesn't want to admit that it's climate change that's causing the problem why we had to start doing this. He's conflating putting minerals into the sky, right, these chemtrails as they all try, and that they're creating hurricanes. I mean, dude, you guys, this is the problem. Like, I'm trying to show the camera, one thing is on this side and the other thing is over here, okay? This is exactly what we're trying to go down. Like creating some clouds a little bit to get some rain and some moisture versus having a nuclear power style hurricane shot to Florida specifically to get the righties. That's the nonsense that like, and this is where he sent it to me from. Was from Alex Jones. Alex
Oh
Jones.
God.
Doug, I love you, Sydney. If you're ever watching this, and then he tells me he loves science. You don't, because otherwise you would know that's just nutty behavior. Anyway, that's why we guys are explaining this into that end, right, fellas and ladies? Is that the Occam's razor? You should always be way more closer to that side. And again, I'm not trying to pick one side, whatever top, whatever you want to say. If Occam's razor's here, then if you think the story is here, we're fine. If your ass is out here in La La Land, right? Like it's lunatics. It
So, yeah.
these there's no 5-year old kid like we've talked about many times who is racist, homophobic, hates women, hates men, like hates this, whatever, is going to become ISIS, a white Christian nationalist, a black Israelite. I guys and girls, this is taught, and what happens through our society, right? And before I even make this statement, watch the about fuck things that are coming out of my mouth. These two men and anybody who do terrorist acts, no matter if they have an American badge on their little military shit, IDF, ISIS, Al Qaeda, I don't care what they have right here. If you commit acts of terror on innocent people, that is the definition of terrorism. Duh.
Right.
So that does not mean that we don't think that this, I think it's the Sadine and then like Matthew, right, are not gigantic pieces of evil shit. What we're saying is get past your fifth grader brain and go, why? For the love of God, why does this happen?
Yeah.
Stop just going, well, there's just evil people in the world. Because
Well,
my
I just
5-year-old fucking brain doesn't want
yeah,
to actually acknowledge that this shit is conditioned. It is not nature, it's nurture.
yeah.
Nature is like my light brown skin and Kenny's dark brown skin, my blue eyes and his brown eyes, right? Like my nose, your ears. That's the shit you cannot change. I can't grow to 6'4" over. You know what I mean? Like But what I can change is me being a racist, homophobic piece of shit if I'm one of those people,
Yeah.
or vice versa, becoming that, right? So that's what we're trying to get you guys to go down this pathway. Like, nobody's absolving either one of these gigantic garbage human beings for doing what they did. But why did they get there? Why did the guy rent a
So
car?
you know what, like, you know what I hate? You know what I really hate about this whole thing is I was watching CNN when this was all popping off, and they're like trying to search for their political affiliations. Like, why? Why don't we talk about the mental health issues that are going on, right? Like, why do we go there? Who cares? These guys are clearly mentally ill, and then you're searching for their political affiliations. Like that does anything. Like it, oh, because they might have been Trump supporters, right? That should make it even better because they're even more evil. Like I see what you did there, CNN, and I'm disgusted by it. And that was the opportunity for you to kind of piggyback on the situation and say this was a mental health issue, but instead you took the legacy media route and you wanted to figure out what political party they were attached to. And
Yeah.
that is
And
the
Fox News
wrong
goes the other
message.
route.
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
is the
Fox News.
wrong message to
Yep.
send. That's
And
the
Fox
wrong
News will
message.
do the exact same
Right,
the other
right.
route, right?
No, I get it. So
Yeah.
here's my thing, right?
They go, oh, he's an Islamic terrorist, and oh,
Right,
they went to the other guy went to a Trump building with a Tesla car.
right.
It's like, but that dude is a white or light skinned brown guy like me who drove a Tesla from here in Colorado, about an hour south of us, all the way out to the closest Trump hotel that he rented a Cybertruck and killed himself. So, guys and girls, think about what might have his message been. Like, man, maybe, I don't know, what if we find out he's a hardcore conservative and he's
Right.
really just pissed off that Elon and Trump are not doing maybe
Yeah,
like
but I think that like
more.
that's what we should be figuring out, right?
Yeah.
Not what political party they're attached to.
Yeah.
Um,
Like, in other words, exactly. Like, it doesn't, it matters to the level of like, okay, cool. We know this person said they love Jim Bob and this person loves Joe John. Cool,
yeah,
whatever. What we're trying to get you all to go down is like Kenny was saying, is like we will hear both sides talk about if this is a right wing, so to speak, person, the right wing media, right, will say, oh, we need to talk about mental health. Okay. If it's a left wing or, you know, or somebody that maybe they think that the right wing doesn't like Islamic people, like this other gentleman who is Islam, right? Like ISIS, even though that's definitely not left wing. I mean, they couldn't be more right wing. They're conservative as fuck. I mean, they literally like hate gays. I mean, they hate all the same people that many of these MAGA people hate too. So they don't like, anyway. Um, and guess who will go down that pathway at that point, right? The Fox Newses of the world, the right wing, they'll go attacking him. Oh, he's Islamic. And the reality is, when they all different ones talk about mental health, here's me and Kenny in the middle. And I don't mean that we're centrist, meaning like we're just in the middle of those two dumbass narratives saying, okay, cool. Let's address mental health. Let's have a universal healthcare system. Let's make sure that when people are young kids that there's nutrients that they can get to their brain so their brain develops properly. Like making sure that people maybe go get vegetables, for free at a grocery store. Not like chips, not soda, but maybe vegetables could be subsidized. To literally when we pay these farmers to grow good shit. And we
right.
say, hey, go down and grab barrels of broccoli and asparagus and holy shit, look at our society. There goes your brain getting fixed, right? Because that's health right there. Then also when a kid is like, man, I'm having these really crazy thoughts, that they could go get actual mental health again for free at the point of sale, so that we don't have parents going, boy, my little boy Wesley and my little boy Kenny are saying some really crazy shit. And they go, oh, well, unfortunately, a psychiatrist is $500 an hour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Let me ask you this question though, Wes, because you made some very valid points, right? Or do you think that it's too far-fetched? Do you think that we are just thinking about things that'll never happen? Like, be honest with me. Do you think that
no,
it'll ever happen?
no, we're seeing, again, we have an older population. If you look at their voting on this, 78% support Medicare for all. 78%. It's
Mhm.
actually 56% Republicans and like 89% or something like that Democrats. And if you look at the age of the people, the age of the folks who usually are against Medicare for all are the ones who are kind of like about a few years older than us and up to about 60. But the people who see, holy shit, once they get Medicaid at 65, they realize, oh my God, like this is such a, like again, with a public option, all that kind of shit, guys, there could be caveats in there. Our point is that I do see this changing. And and it's stuff like this that is why so many people, younger for the most part, want to see this change. In every industrialized country on this planet, everyone, our neighbors to
Mhm.
the north, our neighbors to the south, all of Europe, I just can't say all, but I would say the vast majority of Europe, I mean, several countries, Australia, you name it, they all have a universal healthcare system.
I
If you want
just,
to have a public option, great, but
yeah,
that should have mental health built into it. And it doesn't mean it's going to solve all this stuff, guys, but a lot of this happens from what? Why did this guy become, especially the guy in New Orleans? Okay, I don't know about this dude down here in Colorado Springs. Again, for all we know, he could be like the guy that tried to shoot Trump. He could be the guy who's actually hardcore right wing, who
mhm.
actually is upset that Trump is curdling up to Elon Musk. I mean, he drove a Tesla to Trump Towers and blew it up in front of it. Guys, I that's 2 + 2 = 4 to me, homie. So we don't know why. He could be also a hardcore lefty who hates both of them. I don't know. The
Yeah,
point is, both of them are about our age, actually almost identical. Because you're what, 43 now?
42.
42. Okay, so
Get it right.
I think they're both 42 actually, which is wild. I'll be 45 here in T minus 10 days, actually. I thought you were 2 years younger than me, but yeah, 42. Okay, cool. So think about how like our brains are working around when we turn about 31, 32, ladies and gents. Okay, we start to go, wow, man, you should, if you have any kind of intellectual thought going through your fucking thick skulls. Why does this? Why is that? Why are our kids like we see kids, our own kids or other people's kids growing up and we're going, wow, why do they do this? Why do they behave like that? What's causing this? What's it? And instead of going to that point and figuring it the fuck out, people just go, well, it is what it is, bro. And then they're like later complaining about their shitty wages at their job, how they're worked to the bone, how they don't have health care. Oh God, one of my family members, God forbid, or me or my spouse got cancer or something horrible. And then they all start complaining about it. And it's like, well, dude, when you're going down this pathway of like, why does a guy go from being military in this country, two guys, to like, especially the one in New Orleans, to completely going to a group that is arguably completely against the United States, or I should say our mindsets, in ISIS.
Yeah.
And literally saying he posted on his Facebook, like right before he went and did all this attacks, that he was a member of ISIS and a supporter of ISIS, and he was in a group here that was like an American ISIS group. Um, how does somebody go from that point to that point?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that that's, something that we need to figure out because I know that if we're starting off the year like this, like what do we have in store, right? There's a lot of people with a ton of mental health issues out there. I think that the United States is an epidemic. That's an epidemic in the United States that there's mental health issues. And we can go down and is it processed food? Is it blah, 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 whatever. All I know is that there's a problem. And if we're starting off the year like this is some scary stuff. And I think that people, especially if you're watching this podcast, if you are seeing or hearing things that aren't right, like you have to bring this to the attention of someone. And if you have
Yes.
someone that is struggling, I'll put some you know contact and resources in the links when we post this podcast. But if you are struggling, right, like don't be afraid to reach out and get that help that you need. I think that it's important because there's a lot going on. There's a lot more going on than should be going on in our country, and it can be stressful. It can be daunting. It can be all the things. So we just wanted to just really end this episode in saying that we are here for you guys again. you know, it's going to be rough. We've already had a rough start to the year. It's more
Yeah.
like the Trump years than anything. But we're gonna buckle up. We're always gonna give you the truth. Don't forget to subscribe, like all the things to our social media platforms. And we hope that we are, as we pump out these episodes, that people are really starting to do their own research, doing it the right way, instead of one platform.
Yeah, and guys, and final thought too as well. Like, again, please share this with people, because when you hear Kenny and I, and I'm definitely the more like bravado one in this little podcast. I'm fully aware of that, but don't mistake like passion for like anger. You guys should be very aware of the gigantic difference of people saying, hey, we need to fix and solve these problems so that 95% of people are doing better and having, again, we're trying to help everybody.
Right.
We're not saying we want to pick and choose who has healthcare, who has the access to like get a decent education, yada yada, good livable wages, blah 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 blah. We want that to be for everyone. And that's going to help a lot of these problems. We want healthy food, yada yada yada, right? But when you have somebody saying like crazy shit, you know the difference. You know the difference of somebody saying, "Hey, we need to fix this and this," versus the difference of like, "We need to go out there and do something about these such and such people." Insert fill in name of who the fuck. That shit sounds like we're going to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
Versus, hey, we need to go help and figure out this whole situation for all of these people struggling. Those are again, for a camera view, gigantic differences of what's going on. And when you see something, as they say something. Don't wait until somebody that has shown major, like, concerning, holy shit, this person's becoming a sexual deviant, a radical, whatever it might be. Don't sit back and go, oh God, this is my friend, my family member, somebody, I don't know what to do. I don't
Right.
want to like turn them in. No, make phone calls, contact people, try to get this person help, because this is what that kind of craziness can lead into. They
Yeah.
start driving cars. Most in the video on, we'll put the video in the description, but like, it's pretty crazy to see some of these videos. This dude went straight down that Bourbon Street. I mean, people are missing, I mean, jumping out of the way. We're talking a foot of being ran over, and he was probably going 40 miles an hour. I mean, it was scary as shit.
Yeah.
And that just shows you that, like, when people get radical, guys, for whatever towards whatever way they're going, that we need to really be aware of the difference and contact somebody,
Yeah.
the police, whoever needs to be contacted. Like, holy shit, okay?
Yep.
Please.
Yes, please contact whoever you got to do. Thank you guys for joining us again, and we love you. And go
Denver.
Broncos, go Broncos, go Broncos.
No, Broncos suck. Peace.
Peace.
Love you guys.
Bye.